second and fourth quarter where they didn't even score 20 points?
Yeah, I mean, we came into the game knowing that the two main guys are going to try to drive the paint, trying to create some chaos. I mean, I think the biggest thing is we switch, we help one another. We was in the gaps. They didn't really see the openings like they used to see. I think we did a really good job. I mean, we played them 3 times, and they've been doing the same thing, so we was ready for it this game.
When the offense then is clicking off of that, how good is this offense? I mean, obviously, Tyler almost had one of his scoring highs, and you and other guys were contributing as well.
Yeah, I mean, Tyler's one of the best players in the world. I mean, it's hard to stop him. I mean, we got a lot of people on our team that can score the ball, so you can't really just double him the whole game because we got people that can score the ball, people that can make plays, so we can hurt people either way.
You go from the fire into the fire, and now the next test is the Hawks and Trae Young and what they do uniquely. What's it going to be like? You have 4 days basically to prepare for this. Now it's a 2-day turnaround.
Yep.
What do the Hawks present? What do you need to do against them?
Same thing. Help one another, be in the gaps. We know who the main guy is. Try to slow him down. We know we're not going to hold him to 0 points, but try to slow him down, make him take tough shots, make him see different looks, different players, and keep going from there.
You got to be able to adjust, Last time we came in here, it was another good game. Chicago got the best of us. Their pace kind of stunned us a little bit, and, this time we prepared for it. We were ready, and it was a team effort defensively to try to slow them down.
Yeah. To that point, you guys were taking possessions away from them. Here's a high-paced team, 100-plus possessions a game, and they couldn't score 20 in 2 periods, in the second and the fourth.
Yeah. I mean, we locked in defensively. We locked in, and, this has to carry over to Atlanta. We got one more game to do the same thing. Lock in defensively, and, the offense will follow.
Going to Atlanta the next game, it's a different type of challenge. Obviously, Trae's, Bam said, the head of the snake, but what's it like having to make sure you double up and don't just stop here in the midpoint of the play-in?
Because, you still got more to do. You're looking at the bigger goal, the bigger picture, which is the playoffs. And, we got to do whatever we can. Whatever we got to do that game, to lock in and get that dub and go to the playoffs.
You looked a lot more like yourself today. I know you downplayed the hamstring and said, you got to play through stuff, but did you feel more like yourself, and do you feel like maybe now you can be more of yourself more often?
For sure, for sure. With every day that goes by, better and better. And today I felt good on the court, running. Felt like I was in stride and good rhythm.
I'd say it's different when you're somebody's teammate. What has surprised you most about Tyler just in these first 2 months of playing with him?
He's a high level, scorer. Can really score the ball all 3 levels. I feel like he's a very underrated passer too. Creator and playmaker. He's tough. I feel like I didn't realize it as much till I got here and just actually watching and playing with him. He's nice. He's good. You see what he did today. What he's been doing. He was an all-star for a reason. He's killing it.
Bam, the defensive approach. How pleased were you with it, particularly what you all did in the second and fourth quarters to Chicago's offense?
How many steals we had? We had 10 steals, 7 blocks. I feel like we were, not only that, but we were really disruptive. Obviously, shot out of bounds and making them play in the half court.
How gratifying was it that first of all, a wire-to-wire win, for the majority of the game, you're in a 15 to 20-point range in the separation, to just have a dominating win, particularly after the 3 losses in the regular season?
Good to bounce back, man. Like you said, they swept us in the regular season, so we know it's 6-8. A lot of us has been in just playing a lot. But backs against the wall, I always say it's like March Madness. Win or go home.
What did you like most about the offense, obviously led by Tyler, but so many of you also contributing to keep yourselves in front with a decent cushion?
I feel like a lot of us made big-time buckets at the right time. Obviously, Tyler had it going, but I feel like we was clicking at the right time when it came to, they'll go on a run, we'll get a couple stops and hit a couple great buckets.
How quickly now you have to shift the attention to the next one, and what's that challenging? What challenges Atlanta pose?
Obviously, y'all know Trae Young is the head of the snake, so it'll be really him, and then we'll figure everything else out.
They like to obviously get up and down, like running, pace wise. How did you guys go about just cutting that off?
The Bulls. All right, you said that. I was wrong.
Sorry, I didn't get
I mean, first thing first was making shots. So, it's hard to run a transition when you got to keep taking the ball out. But obviously, when we did miss, we got back in conversion and we loaded to the ball and, it forced them to run half-court offense.
What does it say about Tyler that, 1 week ago in this spot, we're talking about a shot he doesn't miss, and then he comes back, has a huge game like this?
I mean, it's not just this season, man. Like I've been saying this all year. It's good for him to have these type of moments because in the past years he's been injured. People have been throwing his name in the mud, and for him to have a year like this, I got the utmost respect for the kid. He's doing his thing. He's out there playing basketball free and putting the ball in the basket.
What is Davion? I know we talked about Davion a lot, but just what he added on the defensive end, on the perimeter.
I mean, y'all see it. He should definitely be on somebody's defensive team. He does the small things, man, and obviously it goes unnoticed because who Davion is. But to us, he's a very valuable key to how we play defense.
Tyler, in the middle of the fourth quarter, he started going right at them, drawing those fouls after they had been kind of getting some stops, and he pretty much ended the game right there. Like, how big is it to see him grow where he just has those moments where he's like, I'm just going to get to the line and kind of use physicality?
Like I said, man, he's worked on his body. He's worked on his game. He's really got himself under him.
On the offensive end, you had everything going for you. How did you feel about your all-round game? It felt like defensively you had notched up a couple too as well.
I mean, we sent the intention to come in here tonight and, really up the pressure and intensity on defense. And the offense, for me, will take care of itself. I tried to come in with that mindset to just set the tone on defense, and then from there, we'll fuel from that. And that's kind of what happened there.
What you feel like was most disruptive, particularly in the second and fourth quarters where you kept them under 20 points?
Obviously, our disruptiveness, I think, switches, taking them out of some of their plays where they can, play in the pocket a little bit with Giddey and White. And then you got Vucevic flaring back, so dealing with that is always tough. I thought we were really disruptive. We getting the steals, deflections, turning defense into offense, and just swarming. We were covering for each other and just flying around.
You've had plenty of awesome offensive performances, but the way that you were in the first half, how good did that feel as you're going and not missing a single shot?
Yeah, it felt good. Thought I got a good looks. Every shot I took was a good look, right in my wheelhouse. I was able to knock it down. I think, my teammates, coaches getting me to my spots. We're just sharing the ball, flying around, making plays for each other.
Obviously, tonight was a big win, but how do you keep things into perspective where still have one more to go to make the playoffs?
Job's not finished, obviously. We knew what our path was. It's going to take 2 wins on the road, which we're capable of. We knew that from the beginning, and we're excited for this challenge going into Atlanta. Just got to keep that same focus.
They went 3-0 against you guys during the regular season. How did you use that to motivate you, I guess, maybe coming into this game? Was that on your guys' mind coming in?
Yeah, definitely. We felt like we shouldn't have dropped those 3 games throughout the season. Obviously, we feel like we've won almost every quarter we've played against them, except for 1 or 2 each game, and then they're able to win at the end. So, they're a good team. They play fast, which is hard to deal with if you're not, prepping for it and really conscious of it. And we were able to, slow them down tonight.
Your thoughts and maybe a little bit of what you shared with the team.
None of your business. Unfortunately, I think there's a camera in there. He'll probably. It was a quick message. We're only halfway there. We didn't have the luxury of having the 1 game and then you're automatically in. So, guys feel great about this win. Really put a lot into this. This is not something that could just happen overnight. We feel like there's been some good things. Happening the last several weeks, and this is the first time we've been, mostly whole, in a while where guys feel good. So Chicago, also, humbled us, this year. They have a unique style of play, the way they play with that pace, and They score. We had 2 games where we felt like we were in control of the game, both times in the fourth quarter, and they came storming back and had some impressive, scoring quarters. So even as we were up, 15 in the fourth quarter, I remember being up 12, at home, and how fast that lead could change because of their pace. Our guys really respected how much they could score. And we had some impressive defensive efforts to be able to hold that team to 90. Is not an easy task. So there were some very good defensive performances. I thought Bam set the tone, at the beginning of the game, just with his energy and toughness. And the matchup was giddy, but then different guys stepped up at different times. Wiggs defensively had some really good possessions. Davion obviously is so inspiring with his effort, and Kyle, without scoring a basket in this game, had as much impact as anybody. I love stat lines like that. How much you can help win a game without scoring a point. But we're only halfway there, so we got to recalibrate and get to our prep pretty quickly and get on to Atlanta.
So we were talking about an entirely hero shot when he tried to do right, at least he thought. But what does it say about him that 1 week later we come back, have such a dominating performance, and really absolutely seize the moment?
Yeah, Tyler's a great competitor. Look, we were fighting to get back. I mean, that would have been an absolute steal if we got that game. I mean, if he made the shot, I tell you what, it would have been a whole lot more interesting, those last 2 possessions. But he's a great competitor. So he knew he was going to have to bring, a lot to this game, and offensively he was there pretty much at every level all game long. But I think, quietly, I thought he had a really good defensive game, and we need them. We're gonna need that as we move on to Atlanta. He wants to prove that he can be a two-way player, and I love that about him.
Tyler, though, how much of the growth that we've seen all year was on display tonight? Just 10 of 10, I think, in the paint, 20 paint corners, just the pace he played at.
Yeah. And it was, like I said, it was in a lot of different ways. So it's not just straight, high pick and roll where he's just going to get worn out or they could trap him. He's making a lot of those plays in between that are unscripted. But we've also, been able to develop that game, which requires everybody, seizing those moments and seeing it and developing an IQ to be able to get to that, to be able to take advantage of his skill set, particularly when he's off the ball. And that's taking some time, but he's an extremely, he's a highly skilled, offensive player.
When they look at what's next and going from this and having really almost 4 days to prepare for this to a relatively quick turnaround to Atlanta, what do you sort of think will have to change for that type of game, or is it just bring what you brought today and let game plan sort of fall to place?
Well, I mean, the most important thing about today is that we imposed a will defensively and competitively, on the glass, loose balls, things of that nature. Those will remain true. As we get to Atlanta, there will be some different specifics, to their team, and, we'll just have to get to it. I mean, our guys love to compete, so I don't think they would like, 2 extra days, waiting around to get after it.
Oh, we're perfect in the first half in the fields, but then early fourth quarter, they started to get some misses, forced some turnovers. Then he just had a few possessions where he just went straight at guys and drew fouls. How important was that for him? You say it was really kind of well-rounded game to show that he can just win with physicality and control the game that way.
Yeah, and have the patience. You're not going to go perfect all the way through, but can you respond when a couple possessions don't go your way? And then can you continue to make the right play? Sometimes it's getting off the ball. Sometimes it's playing off the ball, allowing other guys to play and providing space. He's become much more patient and mature. And I think, his confidence is just growing, and he's becoming a lot more efficient, because of that. Right?
but as of security verifications, they never had like the patsy or rapid couldn't really get like advantage just so you fall around. How did everybody?
Yeah, again, like what what I said before. Our guys, we all felt humbled. They can score, and we, watching games where they'd score 150 points, and then have those monster quarters against us to get a win. So it was born out of respect, for the offensive firepower and the system that Billy's developed, with this team. All right, thank you.